Hello and welcome to the Hunt, Banish, Extract podcast. We just got a huge info dump on Hunt. Our last episode is now completely irrelevant. Everything that we speculated on is now revealed. We recorded literally the day before, and then David Fifield decided to do a roadmap, and then the whole team decided to do a whole stream revealing the whole event. We're completely behind, so now our last podcast made us look like assholes. Not that that's hard to do. But I am your
pretty
host.
Nice.
Says you. Get the opinion of the rest of the four, and we'll all fucking drag you. All right.
There you go.
I am your host, the Drunken Bard, aka DJ. With me is my co-host, which we all hate, Sleepy Weasel, aka Tyler.
Yeah, they hate me.
No, we love you, buddy. Sir Kaiser, aka Richard.
I am here with your exclusive event news.
Sir Rebick, aka Colin.
Hee-ha.
And Normortal Z, aka Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Yeah, boy. So this is an emergency podcast. We literally want to get all of this info out because if we don't talk about it early, we're not going to talk about it during the event. Nobody's interested. This is fresh news. We had to record, so this will be a first. You're welcome. Extra stuff for you to listen to or, to hate on, whatever you depend on. So we just got new ammo added to our lootable in the bayou, which you can acquire even if you don't have the ammo unlocked for the certain gun. These new ammo boxes will give you whatever ammo type they have for the ammo that they have listed. And if it is a weapon like the Martini, for example, it will swap out only one half of the ammo type. What are your boys' thoughts?
Okay, I'm gonna start off by saying we're gonna see a lot more Spitzer now.
You're wrong.
People with Berthier's, because I think
Yeah.
Berthier only has 2 ammo types.
It's got 3.
It does have 3. Yeah. Well, it's one of the rifles with less ammo type. I guess the Mosin too. So we're gonna see Spitzer a lot. People are gonna take these guns and then they're just gonna bring those and chance it to get Spitzer, which that's what it's for. So I'm just saying that's
Spitzer spawns.
I'm sure it will,
with a high chance.
because it's even if you don't have it unlocked, is what they said. You still have a chance to get it. So.
But the chance of it spawning, they may have the probability of Dum Dum or something else spawning more than Spitzer.
Yeah, I don't know the percentage wise, but either way, we are going to see a lot more Spitzer. So
This coming out is actually the inverse of something that I was going to put in for the next time that I was going to be able to join the podcast, where you bring special ammo, but you can still pick up regular ammo, but less of it.
Mm-hmm. It replaces your special ammo, and you just have regular ammo.
They basically heard you in your head.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what I was going to suggest.
I like
that idea sucked, Colin. We're gonna do the opposite.
I read my mind.
I like the idea of swapping your ammo type mid-match to basically be like, oh, this match is going this way, and this looks like a viable option. So let's go ahead and switch it.
Yeah, I
really think it's a great addition. So
I agree.
Yeah, even though it comes out as contraband if you take it out to the end of the match. But what's also interesting is it being added into Soul Survivor. Quick play, it's quick play. But it's also coming there. So now custom ammos will be available in that game type. That's going to be weird.
Yeah, that's huge because there wasn't any before. It was just the guns that were there. And
it'll only be if you pick it up, though, so...
True, but still, that's huge for players who mostly play quick play.
Aaron's probably the one who plays quick play out of all of us, if we're being honest. How do you feel about that, Aaron?
I mean, I haven't played it in the last year or so because I've really only played with you guys lately, but I was playing a little bit earlier. The landscape for quick play, Soul Survivor in general, is a lot different compared to what it used to be. Everybody used to play it like Bounty Hunt, and now everyone's playing it at a at a much faster pace. So
Yeah.
quick play's finally being used for what I think it should have been used for in the beginning. Is you run in, you grab your guns, and if you run into somebody early, you run into somebody early, and hey, it's just a toss up as to whether you win or not. Because hey, maybe you spawned in with a fucking axe, or maybe you spawned in with a fucking pair of Nagants. You know, you could get unlucky.
It's true.
I've actually been playing quick play quite a bit recently, but have stopped because I've been crouch walk killed by bots. Actually,
dang
bots. What do you mean?
Like it was really bizarre, but I just came across a thing once, and I just like jumped over an edge, and there was a guy there. Shotgun killed me, and it said you were killed by a bot. Had no player information, just that it had a call-to-ball rival.
I mean, it could have been the person's name on Steam, and they just were being cheeky. But
with things like that, it tells you that it
must have been a black screen. I'm sure.
Name. No, it had a regular screen. It just said a bot.
Huh? Maybe you were doing something naughty.
You were the
I don't
test subject.
Yeah. That's strange.
I don't know.
Well, moving on, keeping this train moving. So a lot of the ones that I also said, well, there was a few that weren't originally completely revealed, or at least I couldn't find the evidence of, were completely revealed. We definitely have a Berthier marksman, and we have an uppercut precision. Or uppercut precision Deadeye. Yeah, sorry. The Deadeye is the one specifically that I couldn't find the proof of. Now it's completely confirmed. They even have gameplay of it. And I have changed my answer of which gun I'm excited for, because I'm really disappointed that the Derringer Penny Shot only has 1 round of ammo if you don't have Frontiersman.
Yeah,
Frontiersman.
Yeah, just 2 shots.
2 shots, and then you need a we'll talk a bit about this in a minute, but the special ammo box is actually required to reload it. And so I am most excited about the Bornheim again. I'm looking forward to having the 007 weapon.
Yeah.
Well, so adding to that, it won't be required anymore for a Derringer. That's like a tool, because you can get the ammo from normal ammo boxes, is what they're saying. For like your flare pistol, your fusees, they come from normal ammo boxes now. So
absolutely, and
no longer the supply crate.
Yep.
Which is a fantastic change. That was needed. I felt like it always
makes sense.
Well, taking away from any item you could get in the orange box is already obnoxious. That's why, especially
sometimes
if you run
it's
something.
Good to get a flare though. Like sometimes I'm like, I am running out of flares because there's so many goddamn hives or.
But getting one flare out of an orange box where you really wanted, I guess, a dynamite stick was always an infuriating thing for me.
Yeah.
I also need a flare so I can like burn you guys at the end, though. You know, I gotta at least have one. So if I use them on AI, how am I gonna get them back as easily if we don't find it? No, I'm just
That's true. That's true.
No,
that's why I want the dynamite stick. Why would I want to burn you when I can just kill you all with the extract?
The nice.
Shoot you in the head, you know, like simultaneously, like me and Tyler do.
Without even planning it.
But I gotta say, especially the Berthier marksman, I always kind of thought that weapon didn't really get the credit it deserved, being competitive with its long ammo brethren, and now it's got a sniper variant. But the Krag also isn't used exceptionally long ranges, so I wonder if it's the base damage for it is actually exceptionally high, so it might be in the rotation of the Lebel, the Mosin now, especially with Spitzer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I use the Berthier a lot. Like, I don't really use scopes, so this doesn't really change anything for me. But I think that it's a good addition for those who want to show the gun some love. Because that gun, I don't think people realize how fast it shoots, and also how fast it freaking reloads.
That's a reliable gun. Like, if you're not a reload junkie, you don't run out of ammo that fast, and you are it's cracked, dude. It's
it's one of my favorite
good.
rifles to use with long ammo. That's for sure.
Well, not to mention the skin it got for this event. Did you boys get a chance to look?
I'm not looking at the skins. I'm not looking at skins. I want to be
That's
surprised. So
we have
even the Bornheim skin, dude.
They're beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
So
they all look great.
Yeah, they look. I mean, I saw the Bornheim one. I am excited about the Bornheim silence. Like, you guys know how much I freaking hate the Bornheim. But now that we have a silence type and I've seen what it looks like, I feel like we're gonna be James Bond. Like,
yep, we just need like a guy in
it's
a
gonna be
suit
so
coat,
cool,
and
man.
then like he's like
he shoots super fast, is super quiet. Yeah, that's gonna be a scary freaking gun.
He's like, yes, you will die, boss.
Easily.
I will have sex with the boss. Yes. I will seduce all of them.
Oh.
No.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on. So one of the other bigger changes is actually one of the ones where I'm starting to feel one of the biggest points of contention with this game, because I love change. I love when the gameplay gets a good shakeup, but we've got new ammo types diving right into some of the guns that desperately needed it, but also are going to be, in my humble opinion, some of them way too strong with these new ammo types. Like the Scotfield is getting dum-dum and high velocity.
High velocity is scary.
High Veal is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try that.
Mixed with the variants it already has, it's basically putting the packs in the dumpster and everybody's freaking out.
Yes. This is basically more anti-PAX propaganda I'm seeing here, and I will not have that here.
Well, because it's
already such a good pistol.
I like it.
Yes, and because the Scotfield already has the variants to make it exceptionally good, and with Dum Dum and the freaking Spitfire, that's going to be really obnoxious.
Oh, dude.
Well, the PAX is a variant as well, though, of the conversion and whatnot.
It's a medium ammo conversion, so.
Like, I mean,
right, but the PAX already doesn't have enough fire rate to keep up with a Spitfire Schofield Scotfield. Tyler's got me on the Schofield kick, where it's going to it's going to be insane.
Going to oversaturate the Scots versus the PAX that we're seeing, and we already don't see the PAX very much.
Right,
I like it though.
See, I love the Schofield too, but the PAX definitely needs some more freaking love. Like, that gun is beautiful. It is a headshot machine.
What
at
ammo
range.
type does that one have?
I think it has. They recently added poison like a year ago whenever they did the snake event. So I don't know how long ago that was. I think it's got Dum Dum and Full Metal and poison in it.
Okay.
Full Metal, poison, Dum Dum, and fire.
So what's the damage comparison, if you guys have it off the top of your head?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but I do believe they're extremely comparable. I think the Scotfield has less velocity, if that's what it really is. Yeah.
And I guess that's why they felt that they could do high velo.
Exactly, but then it has high velo, so now what's the point of taking a freaking Scotfield? That's such a slap in the face. Sorry, a PAX. What's the point of taking a PAX? It's such a slap in the face.
I agree. And again, I love the Scotfield. I'm glad it's getting love, but
I think we need to look at it and find out, and I think it's too early to judge because, like, I think the Nagant is over versatile too, so...
Well, you have to remember the Schofield, you can use it at level 1, and so immediately you're starting to get high velo, like right at the beginning of a prestige. So, like, that's kind of crazy, if I'm being honest.
Isn't the Nagant, like, level 1 as well?
Yes, but, okay, so if you're going to take a Nagant with high velo, or you're going to take a Schofield with high velo, what are you going to take? You're going to take the Schofield. Especially with a Spitfire variant, because you can shoot much faster.
But you have to unlock the Spitfire, though.
Yeah, the Schofield is its progression tree is so easy to get through. Like usually without
so
even
much easier
trying
than almost any other
than
family tree.
any
It is
other freaking
ridiculous.
gun. Yeah, it is way too easy to get up there.
Unless we're just wicked good with only that gun. Like I feel like we've just breezed by the Schofield tree so fast.
Yeah. I think at level 1 it either needs 150 or 250 XP, and it stays that way for a while. It's kind of like how the Winfield, the normal standard Winfield is. Like that one also levels up pretty fast, but
I hate the standard Winfield, if I'm being honest.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't
I like
mind
the
it.
next one
Great.
up, and then
I do prefer
the Swift and Aperture. So
yeah, the Aperture
and Centennial. But anyways, that's another story, though.
Sorry, but
Yeah.
can we talk about the Nagant family, like as a whole family, is getting dum-dum, including the officer?
Yep. And
Yeah.
including, well, what a lot of people aren't even considering is that Silence Nagant now has Bleed, which is already an exceptional weapon.
Yeah,
It's
well, the Silence
scary.
Nagant has poison, and that's already a crazy
Yeah, but
thing.
I'd rather deal
Oh,
with
Bleed
poison
in
than
addition.
bleed silently.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't know. Poison's
Well, because
But
pretty annoying.
then again, this event is also negating bleeding, so
Yeah,
Right.
that is true.
That's true.
so we may not see the
Yep.
effects until after this event.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
We will talk about that in a moment. But yes, one thing that I highly agreed with that I saw in a thread was, what about after the event? And that's absolutely right. Because unless Bloodless gets a serious buff, there's a lot of bleed ammo coming in, and there's a lot of problems with, especially, well, we'll mention the other gun in a moment, because Dum Dum, it got 3 new guns. Well, basically 4.
I know which gun you're going to talk about.
Right. Well, I'll mention it in a moment, but bleed is a little oversaturated now. There's a reason these guns didn't have bleed, I personally feel.
A lot of them got fire recently as well, especially with the buff, like last patch or last event. And I felt that was kind of a problem. So we're just adding more and more special ammo being a problem.
Well, I actually heard Colin try to raise his voice. What's up?
Yeah,
I was like, if you look at the new pact traits, they like there's the infernal or whatever it's called. What is it? Yeah, the infernal pact follows like fire resistance, and then the third trait is bloodless, where if you just let yourself, if you don't stop bleeding, it just stops on its own. It just you
it's like a cauterizing the wound. Yeah, that's how they explained it.
They're putting out stuff that'll balance out how much bleed is being put into the field.
But this is part of the event where this whole trait is affecting that. So who knows after the event, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's why I said after the event is when we're really gonna feel it.
But that's a great like thing to have, like cauterizing the wound, like with the bloodless having that extra trait for being part of that pact. But post event, it's like, do they need to implement that, or
like they might need to implement in general? Then, if that's the case, and just have them on a rotating.
I mean, maybe they're gonna like get to a point where they just have the packs like constantly in the game, and then they're figuring things out. But it also helps keep the game fresh, though, by adding the packs. So,
one thing that I highly think is that a lot of people are bringing up, basically bring an uppercut version of the packs, like a big long iron with a longer, headshot range. Which, if they brought a long barrel packs that could headshot out of uppercut range, even, that could really make that gun extremely viable, because that's one of the biggest reasons the uppercut is one of the most viable pistols in the whole game.
Yep.
True.
Easily.
Pretty balanced. Good at long range.
Just give us the big iron. That's what we want.
The big iron on her hip. That's not, upper mat, which is unfortunately getting overshadowed. But it's not irrelevant, just overshadowed. That's all.
Yes.
It's a great gun.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, and I want to bring up the other ammo types, because I feel like this is one of the biggest shifts and one of the biggest surprises from that dev stream, because, these ammo types are what's really shaking things up, because I highly highly doubt that anybody anticipated, the officer also getting the dum-dum, because that's going to be disgusting with that rapid fire.
But yeah, as somebody who used the officer, I don't think I agree with it, but I'm definitely going to be a dirty boy with it now that it's going to have bleed rounds. So.
How much different is it from the new army with Dum Dum?
Extremely, because of the bullet velocity.
Yeah,
that's actually
fast.
That's the drawback to the new army, and now the new army is going to take a back seat to the officer thanks to bleed rounds, because
it already kind of did. So.
Yeah, it already doesn't stand out compared to the other pistols.
Well, and especially where it gets an extra bullet in the chamber and 2 extra bullets in reserve, that's going to make the new army sit back even more, unless you're aiming for the speed of the reload, because of the fast reload. I forget what it's called. Swift. The Swift version of it. So unless you're looking for fast reload, the 100, well, not 100 meter, it's like 80 meter difference bullet velocity is going to make a difference in a lot of people's eyes.
Yep.
But I want to pay respects to the other the 2 other bullet types as well, because we've also got Springfield getting high velocity. We've got a pocket budget sniper now.
It is well deserved.
Well deserved. Exceptionally.
I'm excited. I'm so excited for that.
I'm going to use a lot more Springfield things to this, because this is huge news to me.
I agree.
It deserves it.
Here.
Yeah, that's probably the most balanced of the next ones, because the next one... What? Somebody was smoking crack behind the desk in Crytek. The Winfield Centennial, which already has a shorty silenced version, keep that in mind. And not only that, a sniper version, and it's got the highest bullet velocity of medium ammo, and you're giving it dum-dum. You are all dum-dums for doing that. What the hell is this?
Yep, I knew that was the gun I knew you were gonna bring up.
That was the smoking crack, because it's like, wow, that makes the veteranly take a back seat. What the hell?
Well, doesn't the Centennial do like crazy damage, like 130?
Well,
and now
it's
they're
got higher
bleeding.
damage for the Winfield, and it also has poison, which is pretty solid.
And highest bullet velocity, keep that in mind. That is kind of important.
Especially with Dum Dum, because that gives you range.
Well, and then you take a Pax or a Scottfield now for the extra ammo reserve, and you have a spammable Centennial. And if you have levering, not that the levering is very impressive in the first place, but that's still terrifying.
Yep.
Well, if you didn't die from the levering, the bleeding will kill you, because there's still levering as you're trying to run away.
The shorty silence was already mad impressive, and now it's got bleed. What the hell are you smoking?
Huh.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have fun with it.
I'm definitely gonna have fun with it. That Centennial's my rifle.
I'm gonna have sex with it.
But do I think that it's a good idea in terms of wow?
Balancing is ruined.
Yeah, balancing is definitely an
issue
issue here.
This game? Nah, man.
Casual
balance, we just need crazy shit.
I'd say 4-star and below this is going to be a balancing problem. High elo, I mean, it's already obvious that they'll take long ammo anyway, but low elo, and we got to consider them too. Crytek, come on.
Like us.
This is definitely a big problem. Come on.
Yeah, I think whatever happens with it, I think personally, I'm not really too worried about it. I do think that eventually, I think Crytek will get on it. And by the way, I'm just going to add this real quick, and I don't want this to go into a tangent, but I'm just really happy that Crytek, when they gave us teasers last, I know I was complaining about teasers, but they like released content like that fast afterwards. That's the right way to do it. I'm proud of Crytek. Thank you very much.
Don't do
Love
25 teasers.
Yes.
Actually,
Anyways, sorry.
No, that's fantastic because I'll add to that. One of my favorite things that they actually did was they held back on a lot of the gun skins being released with some of these new skins. We'll get into that very soon. But yeah, they actually didn't reveal every single skin coming out. So I'm excited to see what comes next because we're recording slightly before the event, but that's because we needed all 5 members. We needed everybody here today.
Gone for a while.
Yeah, Colin and hopefully not Aaron in the next podcast, but Colin will be gone, unfortunately, but we'll at least have 4 members, fingers crossed, and then everybody can give a warm welcome to Colin after his honeymoon. I hope you have a lot of fun, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's becoming my brother, so...
So, and now this is the one that everybody except me, well, I don't know about Richard, we'll see. Everybody except me is going to freak the hell out about the fire beetle. It's real. The One Piece is real.
It's here! It's here! It's here!
So we have as you pointed out earlier, Tyler, I named my first beetle Refrigerator. I don't know why, because I love refrigerators. Then we had the second one, the Choke Beetle. We called him Microwave. And then this one is now Toaster.
Yeah, Toaster. Yep.
Irrelevant to what they do.
Well, the toasty one kind of makes sense.
The toaster one makes sense.
Well, that's the funny thing. One of the biggest things in the community is naming the beetle, which is so funny because everybody claims they don't like it, and then everybody's got a name for it.
Well,
I mean, we named ours like the day.
Yeah, we named ours like, look at a cute little beetle. He's gonna fucking kill you.
But it is very funny because I briefly joked about it in a podcast, and Aaron seriously brought it up as a topic of discussion in one of our other podcasts, and bada bing, bada boom. Here it is.
Yeah, it was only a matter of fact, especially since they already had the counter to it, the choke. And the fire beetle in and of itself is not like the fire bottles and whatnot.
Yeah, they said it's not quite as bad as a hellfire, but it's definitely more. It's
almost like a
liquid.
flare, almost.
Well, it has the range of a hellfire, is what they said, which is an exceptional range, but it does not leave a lingering flame on the floor.
That's good.
That's good. Oil
unless it's oil. Yep.
Yeah, but I do believe it will do the 25 damage of it. But there's specifically one balancing change that they made to kind of accent this beetle coming out is they increased the base speed of the beetle and the choke beetle to be faster than the hunter's sprinting. So that will be interesting. So you have to shoot those little bastards out of the air now.
Yep.
And
I kind of like it.
I do too.
I think it's great. It makes it more useful and resourceful. But that did not occur it isn't the case for the fire beetle though. So
right, but they also added 10 more seconds when it's out of range to give people more time to scout, which I actually also agree with because I think it just needs buffs until we find a good middle ground and not too far, of course.
Of course.
But this is an excellent change
to begin with, but man.
But it does deserve a little love. Exactly, because you're the one who really takes them.
Need to be implemented more.
This event is going to make people use beetles, and we can get into that later. But this, I'll just say
only
that
they
before
did
we
that
get into
for the Billy story quest. Jesus.
Kill 2 people with a beetle. What the hell?
I disagree.
I actually got that done.
I know.
I got it
awesome.
Yeah, I got it done too. But
that.
like it wasn't viable when it first came out, though.
No, not at all.
Heavens no. Yeah, no, but
they've made so many good improvements to the beetles.
Absolutely.
I do disagree. People still won't use the beetles, and I think the ones who don't take advantage of these buffs are going to regret it.
Oh, I'm going to bring one of each.
Realistically, anybody who's in 6-star is largely going to ignore them unless they're solos and they have a fire beetle for burning bodies with range. That's about it. But
yeah,
they don't have fun anyway.
I was more saying that this event is going to make people want to use beetles, but mostly for this event. I think after a while, then I think we're mostly going to see the fire beetles afterwards. That's pretty much it.
What's interesting is that they compared the fire beetle to more of a bumblebee, and so like the other ones are more like flies or something like that with speed and stuff. So
Wait, so are you saying that this fire beetle's bigger? We got a fat little beetle.
up next we got the boombox beetle, white
Yeah, it's coming.
beetle.
Oh,
It's
Fish
coming,
gosh.
come on. I need it.
Anyways, yeah. Sorry.
super. Well, I also love the look of the fighter beetle. I want to make
It
that
looks
apparent
good.
before we
Every
move on.
single
It
one
looks amazing.
of the
It
Beatles
looks
like
good.
have had their own variation, and it's awesome.
Well,
I
it's got.
almost wish he had spikes though. That's what I said in a previous podcast. Something
Well-
like a different type of beetle.
That's fair. But yeah,
But that's that's my creative, design versus their creative design. I'm not on the Crytek team, so unfortunately.
That's fair. Well, and 6 stars, you do have fun, but all of you need to go.
Touch some grass.
Fuck
touch some
ourselves.
grass. Yeah, you, and if
Jeez.
you do, and if you're really that good and do have a life, my God, hit me up and teach me your ways because
Yeah, straight up.
I'm still fucking trash at this game. Thanks. All right, moving on
There's
here.
a guy who's like double my KD.
Oh, KD's nothing. Whatever.
It means nothing, yeah.
So we're moving on to one of the biggest requests in the whole Hunt community: Flash Bomb rework.
Dun, dun,
Holy
dun.
smokes! Because this is actually one that Tyler himself privately messaged me about. So this one's got a few people giving pushback, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but it was largely abused in higher elos and is getting balancing changes. I highly like the new animation to cook it. I think that's super cool. I think that it needed an animation to cook it. I think an instant flash bomb was never fair. I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Well, Call of Duty is a very different game with automatic guns,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
though. Right. But, it's getting a gray screen when you get flashed, which I immediately agree with because people were going blind. We play this game late at night.
The SpongeBob meme.
I at least think, at the very least, every single person can agree on that change because that was insane. I've played this game at 1 a.m. and I've damn near gone blind. But what all do you guys think of it? Because Tyler, I know you specifically have a little bit of pushback, but does anybody want to give a little pushback, or is this largely agreed upon?
There's only two things I don't like about it.
Okay.
About the changes in specific. Like I love almost everything about this right now. I don't like that Bulwark is a literal complete counter because not knowing whether or not you got a hit marker is a big deal. It is a much bigger deal than it seems. And
that's true.
As much as I hated getting flashes in game from loots or anything, I would still prefer that it's in the pool but at a lower rate.
Yeah.
Because it was like the number one, number two thing that would always pop up whenever you got anything besides a chaos.
Yes. Always chaos or flash. Mostly chaos.
But those are the only two things that I don't really agree with 100%. But either way, I like most of this.
That's fair. Does anybody have any more pushback before Tyler says his piece, or is it largely agreed?
I'll say that I like the animation, of course. That was the first and foremost thing that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
It did seem kind of slow in regards to like I don't know how the audio cues are going to change because they said those are very distinct and whatnot, but they also Dynamite's supposed to be very distinct, and I barely hear it half the time because they're sitting there cooking it, and all of a sudden it's next to your feet. But whatever.
I feel the Dynamite's still more balanced, though. I would say.
Yeah, I haven't actually been affected too much by Flash in my time playing. Actually, oddly enough. But I do believe it makes it more of, they compared it to the concertina bomb, which I think is a great comparison to basically be like you have to prime it and then send it type of thing. But if you're already clicking on it and you're like holding it, that priming won't really matter because you're going to throw it in like a some area. They saying it like going into a boss layer or something like that would be more so for what it's used now, is what they were trying to push it towards. So that was an interesting comparison for me.
Yeah.
All right. Colin, do you have anything you'd like to add, or should we let Tyler continue?
I mean, I'm really happy about it. With
me
all
as
of
well.
my solo playing, this is something that I've been hit by so many times, and it's just like silence. Suddenly, you're blind. So I'm really happy about everything.
It's like a
I also agree.
quick sound and then blind. Yeah.
Making it not lootable is probably my only quarrel, but even then, I can understand.
Wait, it's not lootable?
It's
No,
not lootable in
stupid.
Twitch anymore. You have to bring it in.
It sounds
One of
like
the
Tyler's
things
got
is
his piece ready.
Yeah,
after
no, that's
Colin's
no,
done.
it's
become the
stupid.
meta.
Well, especially with the sudden nerf, I think it could be still lootable because it's just like a sort of fuse timer. I think that's enough to give people a warning, and especially with a trait to counter it. This might be a little too extreme, in my humble opinion. Other than that, I completely agree. But Tyler, I know you for sure do have pushback. Would you like to give your points?
Mean, it's probably not as extreme as we've made everybody else think of. There are some changes that I think are really good with it. I'm fine with it taking a while to go off. I think that's a good thing. I'm good with audio cues changing. It is nice to know when something is being thrown at you. But yes, the non-lootable thing is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Like, I don't know.
Kind of weird.
Like, I always get the flash bomb. Okay, let me start off by saying I never use flash bombs. I don't like to use them because I flash myself all the time. But I've never really had a problem with people flashing me constantly, even on like solo plays. I imagine Colin has been seeing it recently because after the last event, this like in the middle, like kind of limbo or whatever you want to call it, in between events, has probably been the worst, and I think that's why you're seeing a lot of it, Colin.
Yeah, it's just constant.
Yeah, and I think making it not lootable is basically making it to where it's like it's not going to be in the game, really. I think that's a pretty dumb decision, but I'm sure they have their reasons with like statistics and stuff that they can see that we can't. But yeah, I think it needs to be lootable. I also really do not like the fact that you do not get a marker if you hit people. Like, yes, you can still hear them if they get flashed, I imagine. But if you have picture and you're throwing it from really far away anyways, you're not going to hear that. So at this point, I just feel like they're doing enough to where it's just like, then just take it out of the game. Like, what's the problem with that? Like, I don't know.
Because everything is a hit marker type of thing. It's kind of weird how
everything
it does that.
is. I mean, bear traps aren't, but like alert trip mines are and stuff. But yeah.
Oh, alert trip mines are.
Yeah,
I mean, bear traps
They
make
actually
sense because
sometimes
they
don't.
have.
Okay.
Sometimes don't, but that could just be with the game itself, like having.
It's
issues.
red barrels. Sometimes I've had red barrels that have gone off and killed people and not given me
like.
But
right.
But I guess the point is normally they should have a hit marker.
Yeah,
so
I
it
think
seems
they're
weird for this one
to.
not to, especially with the reduction to the speed you can do with the flash bomb. So that's something I'll agree with Tyler on, is basically like the hit marker. I'm not the biggest fan because you're not necessarily paying attention, and then you know exactly when they're flashed, but that's something I will agree with.
I just don't like you wouldn't take the hit marker away from the from like a frag grenade when it causes somebody to bleed, would you? Like, you wouldn't do that. Even if you hit them and they are barely bleeding, you would still get the hit marker, but you wouldn't take that away. So why would you take the flash hit marker away?
Like a small hit of damage too. So it's like what does and what doesn't. So even like with a beetle, does the marker as well. So it's like
taking that away.
So where do we draw the line on the markers or not? Are they in or out? So yeah, I can agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a mild prediction even based off of kind of what you're saying, because where it takes up a precious slot, especially where people like to take regeneration shots, stamina shots, a sticky bomb if you're feeling really cheeky, you will take frag grenades, especially in higher elo. Where the fact that you have to take it into a match and where it's been heavily nerfed and a trait does counter it, I do think a lot less people will even take it into the match. I feel like high elo won't even see it, and I feel like low elo won't bother because they really weren't taking it into most matches in the first place, and they really didn't see a purpose in it when they had it, because like Tyler said, sometimes it was hard to judge the range of where it flashed, and a lot of people might accidentally flash themselves. That's just a thing. And that's not like, LOL skill issue. It's more like a lot of people didn't. Well, no, seriously, some people didn't use it enough to understand the range, and it's got a lot more range than it actually tells you.
Yes, it does. And again, though, like, were you saying that we're not going to see it pretty much ever anymore? Then just take it out of the game. Like, I don't know. It's at that point, it's like you're taking it out of the game with all of this added on top of it.
It does feel like it can't really be properly balanced, but it remains to be seen with this current patch. I would like to at least see it be lootable again, at the very least.
At the very least. My biggest problems are I need the hit marker. I need it to be lootable. That's my biggest issue with it.
Okay.
Other than that, the changes do seem like they are balancing a little bit. I'm fine with the bulwark thing, because it kind of actually makes a lot of sense. I don't know, but
yeah,
I mean, if they didn't add that, I wouldn't really complain either.
I'm pretty sure it's the same trait. Like you take reduced damage. It's kind of the same thing. Like you're less flash, so makes sense.
Yep. It makes perfect sense to me, but I can see why that would piss people off too, especially with shotguns. So,
everyone else, everything pisses everyone else.
Yeah, and that's true. And this is just my opinion. Whatever Crytek does, obviously, is
wrong.
What?
According to a lot of people, yes.
Well, whatever they do is what they envision, and they're doing it for balancing reasons. Because
it's the game they want it to make.
Yeah, and like I said, they see statistics in a different way than we do. Like,
exactly.
Yes, we're the players. Yes, we witness things, but
so.
they can see it like in an overview.
But that's why we're a crucial element, is because we provide that feedback saying what we enjoy and what we don't. So the percentage is like who enjoys this, who doesn't. If the majority doesn't enjoy it, get that thing the fuck out of here.
Well, and what I meant by a lot of people is it's the bitchers and the whiners. Get them the hell out of here anyway. A lot of the feedback that they have, the MMR, the cheaters, 99% of the time it's a skill issue. Just please go crawl back in your basement.
Or the servers.
And I understand there are some serious issues, but a lot of the people I see, especially in Reddit, man, it's Reddit. Explore the other subreddits and you'll see what I mean. But health and stamina changes. This one will be pretty brief because the regeneration shot is seen to be a little too powerful. So it's actually making the standard health regeneration the threshold as opposed to being a little too fast. I actually do agree with that because the regeneration shots, if used correctly, are really, really big advantages.
Is it pretty fast? I didn't really pay
It's pretty fast.
Oh yeah, it's like twice as fast as normal regeneration.
Gotcha.
It's pretty
I kind of
huge.
like that though, because it made it so I didn't necessarily have to do with health kit, because I hate using health kits.
Yes.
I don't have to.
Well, but like you said, where you don't use it and where it's abused in higher elos, it did need an adjustment. You know,
But
people
that's
who
higher
do
elos, so.
yes, but where you said you don't use it is what I'm saying, especially because a lot of people in the lower elos will typically use full health kits, and in the higher elos, you know, especially where the long ammo will hit them like through a wall and hit their arm, do low damage, they'll hit them direct chest and still not get the kill. That kind of thing can frustrate a lot of people. So this will put a little bit of a bar.
What I'm saying is that if the regen shot goes higher, I like that more than using a first aid kit. Like, I like it when it's faster. That's what I'm saying.
Let me do a correction here. The speed is actually going up.
See, that's what I was. That's what I was about to say.
confused.
That the way that I interpreted it,
I
like
it
the
faster.
They literally
Is
said
it
that
faster?
Yes,
Yeah.
it goes by at
I actually
a,
was reading that right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes by at a slower tick rate, but now it's just going to be in line with normal health regeneration, which was faster. So now they're going to be at the same rate, which is why the price increase is $20.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that then.
I mean,
yeah, I like that.
I brought it
but
anyways.
I can understand why you don't like that.
Yeah, well, it's especially where people are pretty weaselly.
Mm-hmm.
I do
think
like I said, I don't like using.
What's wrong with weasels?
Well,
I don't really
it's
like
now
using
in line with with standard health regeneration. I definitely thought that meant slower.
Yeah,
Well,
I
means wipe
literally
the
just pulled it up and
vitality
was
shot
reading that. I was
almost.
like, wait a minute, now I'm interpreting it this way. So
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm probably completely incorrect, but that would be a little concerning. Not
Yeah.
much.
it's not going to change much. I don't think. I
Not
think it's just
much.
I think it's going to speed up the rate of combat, which this game needs a little bit of a boost. Like, in my opinion,
I think
that's it.
I definitely think the rate of combat is at least appropriate right now. Maybe I'm incorrect, but the price did get increased by $20 though, which I think is good because the little health shots being $20 was not okay. Those things were heavily abusable.
Hell yeah. I was I was one of those people who abused that.
Me too.
Stick 4 of them.
All the freaking time. But that's a pretty small change. That remains to be seen if it matters at all. But the melee is getting one extra swing on almost everything. The devs couldn't even confirm if it was Bomb Lance, so Bomb Lance may even have an extra swing. That remains to be seen until further notice.
That's nuts.
That is
I'm
nuts.
excited. I'm excited for that.
Everything. The axe gets, like the axe you take gets an extra swing. The Talon versions get an extra swing. The bayonets get an extra swing. The I forget what it's called. The ripostes get an extra swing. That's yes. Thank you.
And the riposte to me is the biggest thing because riposte is really good. If you haven't used riposte, just use it and you'll be like, wow, I don't want to go back to bayonets or knives and stuff. It's awesome.
Some of my best plays have been with the ripostes.
Yeah, mine too, actually.
Easily.
Good stuff.
On guard.
Well, now on guard. So the new one of the more hidden controversial, I would say, in the whole patch is Shadow became permanent, but it's a burn trait only findable on the map, but Shadow was one of the stronger traits. Yeah. So this one is a dice roll because I think Shadow was the most well-balanced of the strong traits, but I definitely think in the wrong hands, this is heavily abusable. But it remains to be seen because the AI that they come across still make noise, so it's still got a good balance of people who aren't going to avoid the noise of the AI, but aren't going to be attacked by it. So I wonder what's going to come of that.
Yeah, I personally, I don't think it's really going to be that big of a deal. It wasn't really that big of a deal when it was in the game already. So, and the fact that you have to find it on the map, I think. I mean, I'm glad it's that way because if you could just buy it, then everybody would rock it, and then what's the point of having
for
AI
sure
in the game?
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too.
That I was actually kind of hoping for, just burn traits being in the game in general.
Well, the fact that it's rare. Yeah, the fact that it's rare and not attainable is actually its biggest balance, if I'm being honest. But
yes.
Well, I mean, with that too, though, burn traits are going to be stackable now.
Yeah,
that's true. Up to 3.
That is true. That is true.
So
yeah.
I was listening to it at work. Did anybody catch whether or not it's going to be stackable in one slot, or is it going to be taking up 3 slots?
I think it's going to be 3 slots.
I think it will take the slots. Yeah, I agree.
I'm betting
that's
on
the only thing that makes
slots,
sense because it's the same trait 3 times.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, I hope it would be that way, anyways. So.
For sure.
Only for the second tier burn traits.
Right.
Okay.
But honestly, super cool because it's a welcome trait. I definitely don't think it should be on everyone. I hope that exceptionally good players, or hopefully not cheaters, don't take advantage of this too heavily. But cheating is actually going to be addressed pretty heavily. We'll get into that. One of the weirdest yet most welcome changes is conduit being changed.
So excited.
Yeah.
Going to the whole team. That is great.
Oh, is that what it meant? I couldn't understand what it was saying. My gosh.
So it's going to be at a smaller increment, but it's going to the whole team now.
Yeah.
Now the question is it going to be the same way for solo players?
I doubt it. I doubt it will.
I think it just does the normal as it is.
Yeah, I think it will do the 5 minutes, which means if you're with a team, maybe it will even divide depending on the amount of team members. Nobody really exclaimed
They didn't
that.
explain it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait.
They just said it was going to go to the whole team now and add a smaller increment, but they didn't say anything else.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be balanced around the amount of team, I feel. But that could be proven wrong. We'll see, because we have literally till tomorrow, because we're recording the day before.
Yay.
But a couple of extra notes to go along with that, because I love that conduit change. I think that's a lot less selfish gameplay. Ammo price, and gameplay adjustments. Pardon me, there was a comma. Stalker Beetle tuning, we already talked. They got more speed on the choke and regular variants, not the fire. It's an excellent change. Rot Jaw adjustments, which means Rot Jaw is probably going to be stronger, which I could go either way on. I like both. I mean, not weaker. I think Rot Jaw is either a little underwhelming, or it just depends on your loadout, if we're being honest, facing her.
Yeah.
And then we also have hunter slots being increased into a total of 75.
Yep.
How you fuckers already got 50/50s is beyond me. I don't have anywhere near that because I prestige far too often. But congratulations to any of you wild men or women.
Thoughts later when we get to that, the updates that I have about that as well.
Okay. But that is not a bad change. I think the devs did that because they wanted to test the limits of some of these people. I think it's great in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like letting people take steroids at the Olympics. Let's just see what they could do.
Right. Well, and then there's Razor Chroma Edition, which the game will synchronize with Razor Chroma. I don't personally have it.
Yeah, I don't either, but that's nice for those who want it. So when you open up a certain game, it changes the colors. Like if you have a Razer keyboard or like a Razer headset or a mouse, it'll change the colors.
The game actually interacts with your keyboard as well, because Diablo 3 did that.
Okay.
Diablo 3 did that, and it looked really cool. So every time you leveled up my keyboard, it flashed a bunch of pretty colors.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
It would actually highlight the keys that you have bound to the abilities, so that's probably what it's gonna do.
Hell yeah.
It'll be like touch some grass, to highlight.
It'll turn green so you feel less bad about yourself.
Great.
So, and then all 3 packs got revealed, all traits, all the speculation, which we would have had, thank God we didn't have too much, gone. So now we'll start right on death because I'm gonna kind of go through every pact because we don't want to spend too much time on this. The gameplay will speak for itself.
Exactly. Yep.
And this is where what I was saying earlier, where the beetle for this event is going to come into play, is this pact specifically.
The beetle and the play against bleed ammo, which is what a few of you brought up. But Death Pact will specifically have Witness, which will highlight in Dark Sight dead hunters and dead monsters. And I will say right off the bat that dead monsters, don't let go of that thought. Health restoration is marginally increased when close. Also highlighted in Beetle View. So that's also going to be another big thing using beetles. Mm-hmm. Relentless, your hunter won't lose a health chunk when downed, which is, I mean,
we've
just
had that one before.
Yeah, this one was from the last event, which I'm glad it's back, to be honest.
It's a good trait.
It's a great one.
It's a good option.
And Aaron's personal favorite, the Vulture conditional on the Death Pact, you will restore a health bar when you loot a dead hunter.
Yeah,
that is a really cool one.
You see, I was stoked on this one until they started talking about the Infernal one.
Ah, that's
interesting.
Well, let's finish over the death.
Well, let's not linger too far on here. I want to get to Demented and the Acolyte, which is its first trait, is the random trait and some hunt dollars when you or your teammate picks up a clue.
Interesting.
Which is pretty
nice support.
Good.
Yeah, it's really good support.
Yeah, it's like a support type thing. Doesn't seem that demented.
It could definitely be a heads or tails. If you get Doctor off of that, that would be pretty nutty.
Yeah, if you get a really good trait. I mean, it's kind of that RNG, just putting in work.
That's fair. But there's also Remedy, which is also a returning trait from the Tide of Shadows. Using Dark Sight, interact with a trait to trigger restoration effects similar to banishing for your team's health or hunters. Basically restore health bars if you interact with a trait. That one ended up coming up clutch for a lot of players. The Ghoul conditional, in my humble opinion, is probably the most underwhelming, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Damaging a boss target or wild targets restores a small amount of health, so it basically just gives you ghoul on bosses. That might be good against boss fights, but Infernal
pressure when you're getting pressured by other teams.
Yes.
Infernal, the Blazeborn, the Infernal packs realistically probably going to be the most infuriating, but we'll see. Health restoration is greatly increased while in flames, but you do still char health. You cannot just stand and fire. And it works for your own personal fire bombs. And I wonder if it's going to have a bug where incendiary ammo might accidentally trigger the effect. It's doubtable, but the CryEngine has made bigger miracles happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
So Rampage, which is killing an enemy hunter, will restore 1 health chunk, but it is the burn trait. So, but it can be stacked 3 times depending on the amount of the tokens you have. But that one is exceptionally powerful, especially playing a shotgun loadout.
Yes.
And then the most controversial one I think I've seen so far, Bloodless. Bleeding is stopped completely, basically automatically, because your wounds are cauterized, which is going to make killing solos a fucking bitch. Because they don't stay on fire and they're immune to bleeding, so Concertina will only do flat damage. Thoughts, feelings, boys? Anybody want to speak up? About any of the 3?
So this is more of a broad thing, and this won't take long. This is the first event where I feel like all of the packs are pretty equal to each other in terms of usefulness.
I was gonna say the same thing. I actually feel like this time around, I actually want to use every single one.
Yes, exactly, and I'm excited to try out.
I don't think I agree with that sentiment.
I don't either. I'm with Richard on that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I think the Demented pack is very underwhelming, and the death doesn't push the aspects of the death. It doesn't make me feel something. And I think the Infernal is amazingly like sounds fun. Like the other two do not sound the same amount of fun.
Agreed.
It's kind of situational with the other two, in my opinion. And then Infernal is like, I just want to light myself on fire and become Ghost Rider. So,
I mean, all the packs are situational.
But I feel that Infernal just feels like, I mean, fire,
the strongest.
You use it so much. Bleeding is a major thing in this game at this point, especially since the different updates and Dum Dum being a thing, and was it the Centennial we were talking about earlier? We've got so many updates that just really pushes that class. Now, granted, this is like a fire event, like it is more so towards that, but that's my feelings on the matter.
I mean, I'm most excited for the death one, personally.
What makes you interested about the death one?
My beetles, man.
Beetles.
They're more useful now. It's great.
Can you talk about the synergy, like in a sense of what you're kind of referencing with the beetles and the death pack?
Like you can see bodies with beetles, especially now that they're moving faster. Like it's nice. Like, do you realize how crazy that is?
Oh, it's good. Like especially with the monsters that DJ was kind of talking about, seeing dead monsters. And what I was actually wondering, was it like boss or all the monsters, or how it was going to go?
I mean, bosses you can already see in Darkside anyways, so
that's true.
I don't think that's changing.
Plus, you get health restoration when you're, the closer you get.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that, because
I think that
my little beetle's going to be my friend now. So
I don't know. It just didn't sound as like impactful as something like that. But it sounds like it could be fun though.
The Vulture conditional is by far the most impactful in this one. Like when they were going through it, obviously this is the first one. The Vulture was what made it literal perked my ears up, because dude, thinking about it, we most of the time get in a fight super early on, one or two of us dies. Okay, we come in with a hunter that has this, we immediately get our health bars back.
Yep. Exactly.
Instead of having to go fight a boss and kill the boss.
If you win the fight.
But that's the thing though, we almost always end up, someone dies at least once or twice. Someone else may die another time. We bring in Vulture with the Death Pact. It's actually gonna remedy the problems that we end up having, because we fight early and we never get to see the boss because
we're already worn down by the time we fight the third team, because we're all missing health chunks.
I feel like, I mean, I understand where that can be used, and I think that's great, that sort of thing. But I feel like the Infernal just has so much more, especially with negating bleeding and also negating fire. That's two elements that are essential to almost every fight.
I mean, I don't really see people use fire a lot.
It's more I guess the way that I would put it. Yeah, and that too.
That's true too.
The way that I would put it is that the Infernal is all about the fight itself, whereas Death is after the fact. And Demented is kind of more based on AI. Yeah, it's support. Yeah, very different packs, of course, but I just feel that Infernal just has so many more tools within a fight.
Well, and I
think Infernal is going to be more useful for solo players and such. But I think if you have a team with all three packs, that's a really good team. So
yeah.
I do think there's at least a fair amount of balance, but let me give a quick opinion, because I do heavily think, especially in the Death Pact, the dead monsters, keep in mind, you can hold Darksight, and if you see a ghoul falling over, a little bright blue thing, you immediately know where an enemy team is. Depending on the range, if you don't have the audio cue, you'll have the visual cue. If it's within audio range, it's not a huge deal, but the visual cue is immediately going to give away a location. I feel like this is heavily abusable. So Death Pact has a huge advantage there because you'll see a dead grunt flopping over. Boom, aim in that general direction. The hunter's right there.
Something I'll say just to add on to that is we don't know exactly what the sign is going to be of like what dead monster versus not, and
I imagined it was just
and when it doesn't.
I was imagining it was going to highlight the dead body at the moment they were considered dead. That's
and
true.
You said blue, right? That's what you were thinking.
Like a clue, like an outline.
I
like
almost
a
thought it would be like the white that you see, kind of like when you're seeing
with
traps.
That's probably completely true.
That's what I was
even
thinking.
That will give a general direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be abused. I hope.
I think it's solid and can be abused, kind of what you're saying. But I just feel that.
I mean,
the other one just has so many more things.
Isn't that only when you have a beetle and you're looking at it though?
No.
Or dark sight.
This is dark sight.
Oh, it's dark sight. Okay.
Literally hold dark
sight. Also
sight.
works with beetle.
Here, melee in a general direction with an enemy, and it say it's within 100 meters. That's 75. A really 75. That's still pretty heavy range. That's a heavy range.
That's almost a full compound.
It's a pistol headshot range. Yep. So that definitely can be exploited.
I don't think it will be a problem, if I'm being honest. But
we'll see.
I think too many people are going to focus on the Infernal.
Yeah,
Instinct was definitely Instinct is definitely a heavily debated piece of shit trait because a lot of Bush Wookiees would take it when it's dead silent for different reasons, of course. But I definitely think this one will also have its place depending on what happens. And I think the Infernal will be the most abused and could be team abused. I do disagree with you, Tyler, because especially where teammates could res each other, the teammate can run in and get health bar restored off of that, especially where they're immune to bleed. They can run through Concertina, take a bit of damage, and keep running. Mm-hmm. And bleed ammo is not effective. And if they take an antidote shot, bees aren't effective. It just wildly depends. I won't go too far into details, but the event will tell all.
Yep.
Does anybody have
to be seen?
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add to that? However,
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm looking forward to this event. So we're going to we've been going for a minute, so we are going to try and get to the end of this. But we've also got the indicator of how many event points you'll get from certain things. That's fine. Nobody gives a flying shit about that. So. Mostly the same. But we did
it's not that big a deal.
3 extra skins from the reveal. Which is super cool because the Scarecrow guy got, he is called the Forest Man, even though his name is actually the Waldmann, which is German. So, Forest Man. Bonnie translated that. Thank you, Bonnie.
The Scarecrow is a completely different one.
No, the Scarecrow's right next to the Waldmann.
Yeah.
Right, but they're both blood bond characters. No, I'm saying they kind of came in pairs. That's why I said 3 new skins, is because there's the free skin, there's the battle pass skin, the Waldmann, which is a blood bond one with the Scarecrow, and then
I believe they're both 2 separate blood bond ones.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
but he was added alongside him, not shown. That's all I'm saying. And then the 2 that are supposed to come in a DLC, we have no idea, besides maybe that Scrapbeak Slate that was added, the Slate Riposte. But these 2 Scrapbeak worshippers, also, I was wrong. It's not the Butcher before he was the Butcher. It is a cultist. It is. That disappointed me, but that's irrelevant. Still a cool skin.
They're terrible writers. They should go back to the drawing board.
Oh, shush. No, but these
cool.
2 Scrapbeak skins look crazy.
Tight.
They're so cool.
Oh, they're great. Solid 10
One
out of
thing I
10s.
will say is I would switch the masks on the
I would too.
two skins.
I would too. But I still think they're great.
They are great. 100%.
Morgan still looks great with that mask. It's just the other one.
They both look solid.
Off.
I just think they would look even better if they had the opposite masks on.
I actually agree with Richard there.
Yep.
Well, and I find it funny that I mentioned the throwable because the butcher's cleaver is the throwing axe.
Yep.
Holy
I think
crap.
that was my second guess after knife.
That was never my guess, but
Mine either. Mine either.
Any of our guesses.
I did mention it being like if it was his own weapon, would it be throwable? So I found that kind of hilarious. And then the uppercut precision skin, which is freaking delicious. The baseball bat skin, which is I'm sorry, it's just a baseball bat.
Where's the Negan at?
They made it a small slat weapon.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be fun. It's just you know, when it doesn't extend far out of the baseball bat range, it's not as cool. And then the 3 battle pass skins, the Bornheim Silence, the Berthier Marksman, and the weak stamina shot, which all look okay. I never understood the shots having legendary skins, but at the very least they do.
The weak one, you know.
At least they do, though.
I don't know. I wish it wasn't a weak though, because the weak ones, I don't know.
Why is it a vitality shot? Actually,
you want to?
Oh, it is a stamina. It was confirmed by the devs themselves. Mm-hmm. They did say vitality first, though, but then they confirmed it was a weak stamina because we already have a weak vitality shot. It's the one that's like it has the cross on it. But it's blood bonds to purchase right now. So weak vitality does have a legendary. But super cool skins. Looking forward to it. There's also the new map, Dark Inferno. It is no longer just the Inferno. There is now a night version, which I think that's cooler than a typical night map.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see this.
Yeah.
This is basically what the alpha of Hunt looked like, because there's been a lot of people bringing up the old alpha of Hunt and the gameplay of it. It kind of looks just like it because there was a lot more fire in Hunt, a hell of a lot less light, and, you know, obviously the engine had more power to it, but we'll get to that in just a moment because there's also our last section and probably the one that we're going to revive probably a couple of times because it's coming right into the early point of next year, as well as a few months following, the roadmap, which is where we're going to start getting towards the end here, because we've got the Halloween event, which was confirmed to be a Twitch drop, which is funny. That's one of the things we speculated.
Yep, I knew it.
And it's going to
honestly, I thought they were just going to brush over it and do the event instead. So
I was really hoping they wouldn't, and I'm really glad they didn't let us down here, because it's going to be a new hunter. But they never said they won't bring any of the old back, so let's keep our eyes open for this. They never said that the old Halloween skins won't come back.
Does that mean?
Does that mean? Well,
does that mean what we think it means?
It's true. I and hopefully Headsman's
it could be what we think it is. I hope it's not Headsman, because I will not be happy.
It's gonna be Headsman. I'm just preparing to be disappointed. So
well, what if it's that one that we all really like and all really
that one special skin?
That one special skin.
Don't think
what if?
We're not. We're not. But let's not ignore Richard. What if it's Plague Doctor? What if it is?
What if?
What if?
What if it's that?
They did bring scrappy stuff, and they did confirm that they were going to bring other stuff towards the other bosses. Funny enough, we did skepticize that as well. Then there is a new weapon skin and a charm, but we're glazing over that. Goodbye.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, who cares?
Weapon crates, event points. Event points is going to be super
Yeah, we'll
important
take
to a
them.
lot of people. Weapon crates, I prestige too much. I'm
Take it or
sorry.
leave
I
it.
know a lot of you will be really happy to have a few extra.
I just want my new hunter.
weapons.
Whatever new hunter you got, bring it to me.
Well, and speaking of prestiging, we are getting some kind of prestige system rework. I'm not going to get excited until we get some concrete.
Yeah, we need some details.
Yeah. Because that could mean anything. It could mean the smallest change, like, oh, you get a random gun when you prestige and not a full unlock, like an iteration of it. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care if I get a crown and king when I prestige once. I'll die, and then some fool will get it and kill me with it next match.
Yep.
Yep. There we go.
But we are also getting a change to the challenges, the weekly challenges, which is nice. I'm looking forward to getting more challenges that are more meaningful, and trait reworks, which I do kind of like. I'm looking forward to a little bit, but I'm a little skeptical of what kind of changes they could make, because if they pull back some traits too far, the balancing won't feel quite as good on some of those traits. If they pull back forward on some of those traits, some of them won't feel balanced.
Yeah. Well, like one of the examples they gave was basically moving the scoped trait into 1 versus the 3 it's got. So
which is a strange one.
It's strange, but because it means you have to it's more universal, and that's, do they make it cost more, or how do they balance it basically?
I do believe they said they made it cost more. I do believe it's 3 instead of 2.
Okay.
I could be incorrect.
But it's not too crazy. It's a good trait, but it's not too crazy of a thing to affect the game, because everyone already gets it anyways. So.
Yeah, everybody has one of the iterations of it anyways, so.
It's absolutely true, but that is an interesting one, and one that we're not going to delve too far on this podcast, because it's simply not. Well, a lot of people have a lot of strong opinions. Go on the subreddit for Hunt if you want to hear everybody's opinion of this. The auto aim for gamepads, or rather aim assist. People would say auto aim. That one, I'm not going to touch too hard on this one. I don't think any of us want to touch this with a 20-foot pole. Yes, there's too much missing here.
I've got more of an observation, not necessarily my opinions on it. I will say to the people who don't realize this because they play on PC, there are 2 different types of auto aiming, or aim assist, whatever you want to call it. There's one where, say, like something runs by, your crosshair will move without you moving it.
It'll go
the target.
The person.
Yeah, and then the other one is if you are on target, your sensitivity greatly decreases until they're not on target. So
I think it will be the second one.
I do too. I think that's a newer.
First one would be broken. It would be broken.
Yeah, well, the first type is how a lot of older games did it, and then a lot of newer games that have it are doing it the other way. So I just thought I would add that real quick in case you didn't realize, because that could be a big difference for a lot of people. So.
Well, this is going to be actually really interesting for me, because I am actually the only one of us that plays on controller.
Yeah. Yeah, so PC. You'll notice the differences.
So I will basically be able to test it and kind of play around with it and see what I like and what I dislike. I kind of liked having to adjust my thumb work to the gamepad as it was on this game. It made my aiming phenomenally better on every other game.
Right. Yeah.
There are dead zone adjustments, acceleration options, button mapping, and a weapon wheel rework, which are all going to make. I think those are all just great quality of life. I think that's deserved.
It's quality of life. Yep.
Exercise caution before you judge this too heavily. Do not jump the shark. This is not worth getting too worked up about. We have no idea. The devs are going to take full feedback. The game is not going to break. Let's all pump the brakes.
Yeah, and on PC, like most of us play, we're not. Richard is the only one using the controller in the whole game, I imagine. So it's really not going to make a big difference.
Right. It shocks me the amount of PC players who are actually scared of this. I understand.
Well, it's like almost like.
Well, it's like.
Go on, DC.
It's like Splitgate, the Halo Master Chief Collection. Controller is arguably exceptionally powerful there because of the auto aim. I understand. I don't think Hunt is going to function quite like those games. No. I don't want to get too far into this. This is not worth it. We have no idea.
Details.
Right. Yep. Not enough details. Don't panic.
Yep.
We're going to keep moving.
Be fine. I'll kill you with my controller anyway, so.
Yeah, there you go. With or without.
With my aim assist or without.
We're getting a decentralized backend. We're getting updates with no downtime or response inventory and bloodline interactions. All cool stuff. Matchmaking refactor, which everybody's been talking about, the MMR. Everybody's going to get a workaround for this. Let's all wait and see what's going to change. Team voice functions with randoms, and apparently also a system where if you're a duo, you can search for a random trio partner. Isn't that what you said, Aaron?
Yeah,
that is coming. Yep, that'll be great.
Amazing.
That'll be great. That's something we've needed forever.
Yeah.
Wait, would you explain that one to me?
So if you are a duo, so say like, you know how me and you play late night, if we really wanted to, we could search for a third.
Oh, okay.
Instead,
that's nice,
right? Like, finally,
instead of having to like,
okay, I see.
You can only do it solo right now, but when that update comes through, whenever it does, it's supposed to come through either with the new engine update or the winter update. It's gonna that actually changes a lot because
it's pretty much the time frame for all of it. The winter / engine update. It's like
because the engine update's gonna be. They for sure said next year for the engine update, and it could be as late as the end of the first quarter, which is April.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing it's going to be. Because release date stuff, I always just assume it's going to be the latest possible. So. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And it's coming with that voice chat. You can talk to other team members even when you're downed, and it's pretty much a team chat now. It's basically like Discord. I think that is exceptionally welcome.
Yeah,
randoms will have a better time. I think that's overall going to be a really solid change, unless you're toxic pieces of shit to your teammates, in which case get fucked and leave this game, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't treat your teammates like shit. Exactly.
It's supposed to be fun.
Because y'all motherfuckers on Reddit liking to complain about your randoms. You guys are gonna have a rude awakening when your teammates tell your toxic ass to leave. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, not only that, it's like if you really have that big of a problem, just play solo. It's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with playing solo. There's nothing wrong with it either. So just suck it up and do it. And if you're still complaining, then it's a skill issue. So
exactly, you're too much of a fucking little weenie, and you need to fucking go play. Like, what the hell is it called? Stardew Valley. A game that's more your speed.
Hey, that game is actually pretty great, but
hey, I'm not insulting the game. I'm just saying, you need something a little more your speed,
Something Weenie Hunt Jr.-esque, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Super Weenie Hunt Jr. You mean, because there was
Weenie
a
Hunt
Super
General.
Yeah.
Weenie Hunt General, yeah.
Moving right along, we've also got the Cry engine update, which you guys already brought up, and we've got Colorado coming as its codenamed. Wink, wink. We've got yeah, and then old generation PCs, more so old parts, and then the last generation consoles, Xbox One and PS4. Goodbye, no more Hunt Showdown. You've got to upgrade.
It's not like it ran good anyways. Jesus Christ,
it didn't, and it was holding all of the previous console versions
Xbox
behind.
One, shit you not, like it took 5 minutes to load in the match, and the match was already proceeding to go.
Which
For the original
Jesus.
Xbox One, and that doesn't work. That's not viable.
It's true, but this is a welcome change. We need the engine to look better. I can't wait for Hunt to look even better.
Oh
That'd be
yeah,
great. Yeah,
I'm
that'll be
excited.
good.
Just don't break the game, please. I know it's gonna break it right at first, but
Well, this event's
something.
gonna break it after like a couple days. So first
Yeah.
couple days is gonna run great, then it's gonna break.
yeah.
Like it usually does.
And then, I put the notes for the minimum specs in here, but I'm sure most of you who
Go look
give a
them up.
shit to
Go
play
find
this game are going to find them anyway. It's going to be listed on the Steam library. But we've also got free upgrades for the console versions. Congratulations, guys. You don't have to pay a cent.
That's great for consoles, though. Like from
Yeah, I
Xbox
agree.
One to
It is.
Series X/S. That's really awesome of them. Most companies would be like, "Give me more money."
$10.
But it's like, oh, you just lost
Yeah.
another client, so you
Yeah.
lost
Yeah,
another customer.
I wouldn't blame the console versions if they righted it over that. Like $10 for all of us to upgrade. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, it's
I'd
just
be
like
with
you're
them.
doing the forced upgrade, and you expect everyone else to fork up the money. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
What is this?
It's really good on
Rockstar?
these guys. Really good on these guys for doing that.
That's true, but they are getting a full UI upgrade. I really hope they go to like the old version of Hunt where the UI was super intuitive with like a map background and it looks really cool. And hopefully they make it more fluid because there's a lot of changes.
Just give us a customization option, like where you can choose like when you play through an event, like the background changes. If like since you played through it, you can change it to that background or something. I don't know. Just give us a little customization. That's what I say.
They'll figure something
Absolutely.
out. I think they're on the right track.
Yeah, I agree.
They are.
I agree. They're working good. So
Basically, they're trying to make everything flow together and they're trying to make Hunt look even better. I think this is overall a completely welcome change.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm excited to see. This game is my life right now, so seeing my life change, it's kind of magical. So
The newborn child. No.
Absolutely true. Well, and since we've had two very, very silent members, Colin and Aaron, I'd like to hear any of your guys' feedback. Colin, why don't you give us a start? How are you feeling about some of these changes? Colin is asleep. So, Aaron, how are you feeling about some of these changes? Is Colin back?
My mic wasn't picking up audio for some reason. I was talking and then it just.
Oh no!
Colin realized himself.
Please give us your feedback, please.
I'm the newest person to this game, I think. So out of the five of us, and I like all of it. I like that the game is changing. I like that that there's so much being added. Like I'm mostly impartial to everything, but this update is really, really exciting. So
Yeah,
and
that's
gargantuan.
Here.
Yeah, big.
True that. Aaron, what are you thinking?
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, there's just so much in terms of everything that's going on with the event, with just all the roadmap, especially. I can't really say anything until it comes out, but I am excited for the future of everything right now.
But they have delivered.
Yes.
They have delivered.
They've delivered in the past, and I'm more than certain they could deliver again. They were getting a little slow and a little sloppy for a little bit, but for the most part, they've almost always delivered for anything they've done. So
yeah, especially recently.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
so I'm just looking forward to everything right now.
Oh, for sure. One thing that sorry, I didn't see in the notes, I actually missed, but it is an important thing to add. Crytek is getting a dedicated anti-cheat team. They're not relying on easy anti-cheat anymore. Hell yes.
Thank
God.
God.
Easy
It all
anti-cheat
breaks
is
in the
still
first
the
week.
worst anti-cheat in all anti-cheats. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, it says easy.
No, they're
Oh,
terrible.
please.
And it breaks your game constantly.
It does. It detects certain pieces of equipment as cheating, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what is that? An interface to record music?
I'm
How
sorry,
dare
but
you?
I'm sorry, but any game that has easy anti-cheat has some of the worst cheaters in it.
It's true that
Siege and stuff.
Yeah.
Siege.
Like seriously, like Siege.
Yeah.
I don't remember if COD has it anymore, but I know they had it for a little while on PC. It's so fucking god awful, dude.
It really is.
Yeah.
At least Siege cheaters don't lie about cheating. There's like, yeah, I cheated.
That's true. I gotta give him a little bit
I'm
of
a cheater
respect, I
and I'm
suppose.
Hell yeah. But yeah, this episode might have been a tad bit longer. We had a ton to cover. We did not anticipate that all of this information would drop literally right after speculation because you know how you know how Crytek likes to roll. They love to give out teasers, but as Tyler actually pointed out, they actually have been better about not teasing too much. They haven't even teased all of the skins for the DLC coming out.
They just dropped it all on us, and I love you.
Like
delicious.
Like a damn bomb, it all exploded right in our face, and our last podcast is completely irrelevant. I apologize, anybody who listened to the last one and was vastly confused. Well, no, everybody was probably vastly confused as to why we sounded so behind, especially when all of their information was released. They probably didn't get an idea of the exact record date. I hope that this podcast cleared a little bit up and got some of our opinions out there. Yeah, I'm going to I'm going to open up our Spotify polls now, get a couple of opinions out of all of y'all, and see which gun you're most excited for this new event, because I'm kind of excited to see what all of you want to see. And we've got to bring up the roadmap probably a couple of times, because it remains to be seen how all of this will roll out and in which order. But thank all of you for listening to this, and sorry about the unannounced date, since you're used to bi-weekly if you're a regular listener. And we will see you either in 2 weeks or next week. It largely depends on how much we get from the gameplay itself from this event, because there's going to be a lot, and we probably won't grind out the event's guns in 1 week.
Oh, you know, I will.
I will try my ass off. I'm going to be honest with you.
Hell yeah.
But we will see all of you very soon. Colin, we wish you a very happy honeymoon.
You loser, you're getting married. We're gonna be off playing Hunt, and you're gonna get married. Jeez, man.
Dude, you can't even play Hunt right now, Floor Gang.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. I'm moving, in case anybody's confused, so I don't have a desk.
Yeah. But if you keep up with us on X, thanks freaking Elon for changing Twitter, something rolled into something garbage. I will try to X the next date for our podcast. Keep up with us there. I'll try to keep up with some of you on Reddit, if any of you keep up on Reddit. Thank you all so much for listening, and until then, stay hunting, all of you.
Yes, please. Please,
I want to. You heard it here first.
Yeah, we're gonna fight with the boombox beetle. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great.
Enjoy the event, y'all.
And me.
Don't enjoy the event. I hope you all burn.
Well, technically everyone's gonna burn, so come on.
I don't know, not the Infernals.
Burn.